and here is something that's a little different. I'm going to take an episode to kind of go back to some of my comments and answer some questions. These are the questions that I've received over the past week or so, things that might, warrant a little bit of an extra explanation or in certain cases, actual testing. So let's just get started with this question here from Perseus. Perseus asks, I'm a PS3 player and Monster Hunter Frontier GG is coming out in Japan this month. Will I still be able to play online even though I'm in the US? Me and my friend are thinking about getting it. Good question, Perseus. I'm going to answer this in a couple parts. For those of you that are unaware, there is a massively multiplayer game of Monster Hunter that does exist. Unfortunately, it has so far been locked to IP addresses that are only in Japan. That means that you're normally only ever able to play it if you're either A, living in Japan, or B, can trick the computer or your router into thinking you're in Japan. In most cases, you can purchase some VPN software, purchase the ability to connect to Japan servers, and play that way. I would assume that if you really went to the major effort, you'd also be able to do the same thing for your entire internet and stream your PlayStation 3 through that. Is it worth it? Not really. But that's getting into different topics. If you really want to play Monster Hunter Frontier, I'm going to suggest you not play it on the PlayStation 3. Go ahead and get the computer version. It's free. There's no cost to download. There's only a monthly subscription. And it's not hard to run. I think a while ago somebody was doing some testing. They were able to run the game on a netbook. So if it could run on that, basically anything you're running now will be able to run it. Alright, next question here is from Mario Kart, and he asks, can Durham Burroughs be ridden? Don't know if that's how you spell its name. Well, that is close enough. I think that is how you spell his name. And the answer is no, because Durham Burroughs is not currently in Monster Hunter 4. He's kind of a fan favorite. I would assume we're going to see him coming back in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, but as it is, there is no way to ride him as he is not in the game. That being said, there are basically no monsters in the game that cannot be ridden, at least large monsters. So if he were in the game, you would be able to ride him, and I assume that would be a great way to deal damage to his humps. So stay tuned, who knows, maybe he'll be coming back relatively soon. AKMax007 asks, seems like attacking doesn't work as wind resist anymore, or is it only the sword and shield? I'm not sure I fully understand this question. There have always been certain attacks that were fairly resistant to wind. They granted kind of like a light wind resistance attack. The easiest one to test is, of course, just charging the greatsword. That will usually ignore certain small wind gusts and prevent you from being knocked back. As for the sword and shield, that was always suspect to being knocked back. Certain top-tier pro-level players will say that they can figure out the timing and actually roll through the individual wind gusts. For me, I'd rather just avoid it entirely or just use a weapon that can actually have the built-in wind resistance in its attack. Can Gypceros be killed while they're playing dead? I don't know. I would assume they should. I will have to test this soon, so let's see if I can insert a little video here where I try that exactly. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of testing. Alright, this is going to be to see if Gypceros is invulnerable at all when he is playing dead or not. I'm assuming that with this weapon and setup, it should be pretty easy to find out. I would assume that within 1 to 2 combos when he's near death, it should kill him, assuming he hasn't been knocked out. This has the possibility to just be a very sad fight, and I'm sorry if it is. Our main goal is to get him within play dead range. Within combo and a half or so. Should be relatively soon. I guess the hard part is making sure he actually plays dead. Okay, so the hard part is going to be waking him up without killing him. And getting him to play dead. Alright, here we go. Oh, scumbag Gypceros. Alright, if I kick him and he dies, he cannot die in his fake death animation, so I guess that's the answer. Unless you choose to believe that he was literally only one kick away, but I'm pretty sure he was dead. So that answers it, Lanchester DS. If you want to kill a Gypceros, wait for him to wake up. But feel free to do plenty of damage. He just won't die in that animation. Ariel Delgado asks, what is the rewards from writing a monster? Well, you don't get any specific reward from writing a monster, unless of course there was some sort of subquest for writing a monster. There are certain things that come from it though. The first and most important is a lot of monsters have been added a separate breakable part on their back. And so cases like that, writing a monster is going to be one of the easiest and most effortless ways to break that. So it's never a bad idea to do that. Beyond that, there are a couple different advantages. The first being that you're actually going to do real damage with those knives. I know they only look like carving knives, but they actually do a substantial amount of damage. Remains to be tested, but I would assume it's pretty good. Beyond that, you trip the monster, and when the monster's tripped, you almost always end up sliding towards his head, or at least in a position where you can actually get one or possibly even two combos off in the head. So that's almost a reward in and of itself. And the final thing is if you're actually playing in a group, riding the monster gives your teammates time to kind of sit back, sharpen, heal up, take a power seed or two, and get themselves in position to help beat on the monster when he's actually knocked over. Alright, so that's it for Ask Shepard. Again, you know, I'll be trying to pull off one of these every week. I'll still probably be commenting to the people when they actually ask the questions, responding back. I just want to be able to turn this into kind of an annotated comments area where I can kind of read your questions, answer them out loud, and kind of give the ability to share it with a lot of other people in the future. So, until next time, this is Shepard saying good luck and have a good hunt.